Like when they teach you things in college or school, for the example, they only teach you to work for other people. They don't really teach you how to be productive really for yourself.
You'll hear them talk about if one day you want to go into business for yourself, but you'll never hear them say, let me show you how to go into business for yourself.
Exactly. They never show you that.
In fact, I took a business class thinking that's what it was about, and all they did was teach me how to work for the man.
Exactly.
This is not what, I already know how to kiss ass, I don't need this.
That goes back to what I just said. They teach you how to work for other people. Period.
When I was studying law, that was the first time where I saw and read about people who made not only a business, but a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Of course, they were the leaders of organized crime.
Exactly. Yes.
Got me thinking, you know?
Yeah. That's how it works, man. And then the people that has the pseudo-knowledge or that practice dogmatic religion, they think that they really have something when they really don't. Because the people of the higher Gnostic knowledge, they know it all. They know the true meaning to why man is here. They know the true reason.
It's like when I went to Elevation Church.
You said Elevation Church? What happened?
There's a lot of people there who thought themselves so enlightened because the guy who spoke, who was on stage, mentioned their name.
Yeah.
Oh, he mentioned me. I'm connected to him. They'd always bring it up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so you're special in the eyes of one person.
Yeah.
How is that special?
Did they kick you out of that church?
They didn't like me. They didn't kick me out. But they told me that church wasn't for me.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Who told you?
A lot of churches told me. Their pastor told me that.
Well, why?
So I told them, if you do realize that the Bible strictly forbids the worshiping of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they all are all about worshiping Jesus Christ.
There you go. Yes. So let me guess, you got up and spoke your mind.
It wasn't during a sermon.
Yeah.
I'm not that rude.
Okay, okay.
I believe in certain principles, and it was after the sermon, and we were standing all around outside, talking. It just happens to be when they stand around talking, everyone's still there.
Yeah.
And then when I started talking, it's as if God Himself made sure everybody wanted to listen, because the room got quiet and I was the only one speaking.
Yeah.
And I went on to explain to them how the Holy Trinity that they put so much stock in was a pagan belief first of the goddess, the god, and the higher power to symbolize the male and female aspects of the higher power.
Exactly.
Not to say that there were 3 deities in that religion. And it's I get so mad because I'll get home and I'll be like, I've not forgotten Drew Ali at all.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to look it up.
This comes from the ancient mystery schools of Egypt. They never meant for this knowledge to actually be out to the public until people were actually ready for it. So what the professors and what all these people do is they give you a dogmatic form of religion. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To control the masses and also to extort monies, finances. You see what I'm saying?
One of the reasons why Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and people were like, wait a minute, so we shouldn't make money? No, we just shouldn't be a slave to it.
Yes. So this is really what the ancient people worship and what they knew it to really be.
Most religions worship money, they just don't know it. The pastor knows it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a hidden knowledge.
Yeah.
They know it, but the sheep don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
So deity means divine being, but not necessarily God.
Exactly.
That is cool. But that was the thing. That's how they demonized the pagans in the first place. Was the pagans had multiple deities.
Yeah.
But the pagans believed that all the spirits of the divine realm, which they called deities, served the higher power.
Exactly.
So their deities were our angels.
Yeah.
But the Catholic Church said your deities are gods.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
That's how it got misconstrued. Right there.
But it was deliberate. I don't like using the word misconstrued, though, because it seems misconstrued implies that it was like a miscommunication, an accident, and it wasn't.
Well, you're right. It was deliberate.
It was totally deliberate.
It was deliberate. You're right.
It was a business tactic.
Yeah, it was deliberate. You're right. I agree with that.
Just like when they stopped Mary Magdalene from having the church.
Exactly. But when I say misconstrued, what I'm saying is the people are assuming that way because they're not really learning for themselves. They're taking what's being taught. That's why I say they really are. They assume this because it's being taught that way. You see, this is what a lot of people don't realize. These professors, these pastors, these big evangelists, when they get these big degrees, they really learn the truth, but they don't give the people the truth.
They give the people what they were taught to give them.
Exactly. Now they know. Now they take oaths.
Because they also know something that's very important that I've learned recently myself.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't ready for the truth.
Exactly.
No matter how you paint it, how you color it, they can't handle that information.
I'm glad you said that.
And they'll turn it, they'll twist it, they'll deny it, or whatever.
I'm glad you said that. Read this paragraph right here. Read that. And that'll correspond with what you just said.
Yeah.
See? It just corresponds with what you just said.
It's like, and believe it or not, I was taught that like the other day.
Yeah.
Through my little brother.
Are you serious?
Because I was trying to impart knowledge on my little brother, who's 12.
Yeah.
Who has no desire because he's 12.
He's not ready.
He's not ready, and I was wrong, and I was foolish to think that I could, and I was wrong to get mad about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tried to impart knowledge on him that not only is he not ready, but he could care less about right now. He's 12 years old.
Exactly. He's just not ready. See, this is the thing where it says it'll be foolish. Where it states that what am I just telling you to read?
There are but a few people who know the truth that is about man, and that few know that it is foolish to try to impart it to the ignorant. Although the ignorant has finished college, he is a fool right on, being trained to jump through a hoop.
And what were you just speaking about?
About college kids and professors knowing that college kids are idiots.
Do you see what I'm saying?
The longer he stays in the schools, the better he can jump.
See what I'm saying? Because he's constantly being taught.
And the more vivid
he would defend his jumping.
And that's the one thing that always. I had a buddy tell me a long time ago. Not a buddy. It was more his mom told me because she's Muslim.
Yeah.
She's a white lady.
Yeah.
So she's gone through hell and back to hell and back again because her family did not approve of her marrying a Muslim, let alone an Egyptian Muslim at that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, back in the day, and her original husband, her child's father was Puerto Rican. Her son's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He was raised Muslim.
Yeah.
So he went through hell and back to be accepted. He hated Egypt. Because Egypt was just so bad for him.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, I can understand that. You know, it was just not good to be white.
Yeah.
Or disrespectful.
Yeah.
He was one of those. There's apparently some kind of bathing area where all the women can bathe, and there's certain men that are allowed to make sure no one gets in there, and he would try to sneak in there to catch a glimpse.
Are you serious?
And he got beat the hell out of for that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because and it's like, he did it to himself, but after the third time, one of the guys beat him and then took advantage of him.
Ooh.
And from then on, he has this really bad image of Egypt, Egyptians.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him because he's Muslim.
I know it.
He goes to mosque, you know.
Yeah.
Certain people make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's prejudiced. I think because that happened to
that
him,
experience.
he can tell when some people have that look in their eye. You
Yeah.
know? And it's just one of those, you know, but I don't even know what the point was.
He caught the bad end of the stick.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That's what it is. He caught the bad end of the stick.
Shit, where was I going with that? I don't know. I found my buddy. I haven't seen him in forever.
Where is he from?
He's from, he's living in North Carolina. I think he's from New York.
Okay. And you from North Carolina, right?
I'm from upstate New York. I'm from the
New York. That's right.
I come from a little section in New York where they're still 20 years behind, and it's an all-white town and run by religion.
Catholic.
No, more like Episcopalian.
Okay.
Which is Catholicism without the guilt, but still lots of judgment.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I got into witchcraft.
Yeah.
They did not.
Was it Wicca, right? With the same thing?
No, it's not. There's Wicca, there's Druidism, there's Shamanism, which Druidism is the study of the stars and the learning of angelic script.
Which is true religion.
Where Shamanism is the study of life and acknowledging that everything has a spirit, and then there's, or that there's spirits everywhere. Animism is where everything has a spirit.
Yeah.
That grandfather thunder, and that's what the Native Americans believed in. I dabbled in everything, but because my father was as abusive as he was, I went very dark with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I tell people today when they're like, "Oh, you were awake," and I was like, no. I'm the kind of guy that gives them a bad name.
Yeah.
I'm the reason they get a bad reputation.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, I'm not proud of that.
Yeah. But you know what?
But I learned a lot from it.
It's knowledge to be be because I had a friend that was into witchcraft, and I looked at it, at that time I didn't have a lot of knowledge. I was conscious, and I kind of looked at it how the masses looked at it until he started to sit down and explain to me, and I was like, it's not like what people think.
No, it's not. No witch is going to summon down a lightning bolt to strike you, and then I'm
going to it's not. That ain't what it is.
But there are ancient knowledges that I wish I could reattain, but they're just gone from this world.
Yeah.
And people don't realize they're not gone because God took them or anything. The more science progresses, the more faith dies.
Yeah.
But I had a buddy tell me like this. Well, my first teacher, it was like, a mother can teach her child that the fire's hot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how hot it is.
Until he touches.
Until he sticks his hand in.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
He doesn't know how strong he is until he finds out how long he can hold his hand in.
Yeah.
And he was big on analogies with fire, which is funny because my house burnt down twice.
Damn.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And the second time was an electrical fire, and the first time was because my brother was so afraid that my father would beat him for playing with a candle that he threw a blanket over it.
Ooh, caught right on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
And my father tried to blame my little brother for that, and I was like, Dad, my brother was 4 and terrified of you.